just inside someone's bar. After we go into come on now. If you think the bus cannot stop, on the road they can never stop. Oh na na.
Welcome to St. Lucia Carnival.
Oh na na.
Welcome to St. Lucia Bacchanal.
Oh na na.
Welcome to St. Lucian Carnival, the theme song for this year's cultural explosion, which had as its theme, nothing sweeter than that. Lucian Carnival, a festival on the cusp of change, an event which has become a part of the people for decades. Once a pre-Lenten celebration, is now in many ways a festival seeking to define and redefine itself.
I loved it, and I thought that it was an avenue. When I saw Trinidad and I saw the other countries, the kind of money that they make from Carnival, I saw it as an avenue for artists.
The Carnival Band typically functions as a conduit for business to a lot of other entities.
Jubilation, fun, excitement.
It is a time when all those involved in the music industry actually have an opportunity to make a living.
It's the only event I look forward to in the entire year.
Having fun, enjoying myself, music, dancing.
We put it down to perhaps it was the experience of the carnival not being, if you like, the kind of party atmosphere that the people who traveled to Trinidad, to Barbados, to Antigua went for. They were not getting in St. Lucia.
Pioneers, they like the Walcotts, the Gibsons and stuff, because without them setting the base and the foundation, and we would not maybe have a carnival day. They, kept alive a lot of the skills, which we don't see anymore.
It was in 1999 that Carnival was moved from a pre-Lenten festival competing with Trinidad's Megamas to July as to explore the event's marketability as a tourism product and its economic viability. While many has hailed this move as a success based on the increase in visitors to be part of Carnival each year and the growth of Carnival in terms of events and public participation, no real economic impact surveys have been done to assess the direct benefits of this event to the island's livelihood. That is, up until now. This year, the Ministry of Creative Industries explored the economic viability and sustainability of St. Lucia's Carnival via a demand-side survey. The results are contained in a report that comprised of a survey of patrons, the visitor expenditure, and a motivation survey. In this documentary, we will be exploring the findings of the survey, and we will also be speaking with the key players for Carnival here in St. Lucia. In the end, we hope to strike up at least a discussion on the relevance of Carnival as an important part of St. Lucia's social and cultural fabric, whilst recognizing its economic importance as a viable creative industry.
Has had this impact because look at Adrian Oshie. Adrian has used his carnival skills to develop landmark events. You can see that he does props, he does stage background, he's into theater, and it all came from his love for the mass. Scene Greaves, the same thing. Scene works full-time, not just during carnival season, and it's because he got involved in costume design, dressmaking, etc., that he earns a living now. Danny Marshall has used his carnival skills outside the carnival arena to help him to do his work. He does welding, and all these are skills you develop, along with your basic design and costume working. So the avenues are enormous.
There's a lot of connections that run through the production which generate benefits to a lot of very small and medium-sized people, like screen printers, for example. Quite apart from that, the next major expense would be materials, as in the production of costumes. As you know, Rituals produces its costumes locally. So apart from the fabric and trimmings which have to be brought in, some of which are purchased locally, but most of it is imported, we then start the fabrication process of making costumes right here, which means tailors, seamstresses, and craftspeople are all involved in that.
They only have about, I could count on my hand, 5 costume builders in St. Lucia. We've been importing carnival designers for years now. I would love to see design, carnival design, creative design go back into the schools. If we get young people, get the schools get the schools involved in Kiddies Carnival again, you start seeing designers coming out of the woodwork. We've lost that. We need to start doing it again. I would love to participate in that sort of venture.
Compre, the convent, Corinth, SEC, who have theatre art programs, I think that if these guys were serious, they would go into the schools, adopt a school, and try to help those kids by giving them the opportunity to develop some aspect of the mass. If they want to start a junior band in one of the schools, okay, you want to do that, but you have to give back, and that is the bottom line.
Before 2005, the number of revelers in Carnival was about 1,500 revelers with all the bands we had. That's the highest numbers we had in total. And you found Red came in that year, 2005, and we had close to 750 revelers in our first year. And then we went all the way up to 2010, where we had 1,500 revelers over that in 2010. Numbers are since then doing a little bit because it's always difficult to manage such large numbers. But just to show you what has been able to happen by way fact of going through costumes, if you like, of what the masses want.
There is no doubt that there is something about Carnival that is a part of us and touches lives in all sectors. Whether you are a reveler, a pan player, a costume maker, a calypsonian, or a soca lover, or even a spectator or visitor, there is something deeper about Carnival. It goes beyond the costume, beyond the two-day jump up on the street and the revelry.
To put all this into context, this year, for the first time, the newly formed Ministry of Creative Industries commissioned a survey during this year's Carnival, focusing on patrons' trend of spending and the economic benefits to Carnival. The findings prove that, indeed, there is a spike in not only economic activity during this year's Carnival season in July, but also in visitor arrival.
Carnival is an extremely significant time for business at the marina for the specific reason that it is one of our peak periods. We would see persons come throughout the 2-week period to partake in the various activities. Our principal market at Carnival would be that of our French compatriots from Martinique and Guadeloupe. Why so? Because at that time it is the vacation period for much of the French Isles. We also see plenty persons from as far as France come through, and so they seize the opportunity with everyone on vacation to come to St. Lucia via yacht, via speedboat and so forth. They also comment on the shopping at the time, but it is the atmosphere that Carnival brings that they appreciate tremendously.
They still keep the traditional date of Carnival, which is in February. And most of them after the Carnival would then already approach us on coming for our Carnival, which is in July. They're usually always ready. We know that the costumes are always appreciated by the St. Lucian public. They see something completely different than what we do. So it brings a lot of value and a lot of positive aspects to our Carnival. But as I mentioned earlier, there's also the economic value that is very important. Apart from the revelers who come, who are part of those bands, they also bring family members who follow them just to see and to partake in our Carnival and to see the what we have to offer.
The Martinicans and the local tourism that comes in. A lot of people are already familiar with Caribbean Pirates, so they gravitate here, they come here. It's sort of a tradition now. One time I even thought it necessary to buy an extra freezer just to keep things specifically for when that time came, so I don't run short. I hate when people come and say, hey, then we have some blackfish and I'm out because usually basically because of storage capabilities. So I store it up now during Carnival or during jazz and whatnot ahead of time, and my suppliers benefit, and I look good when the time comes.
It's a tremendous market. We're talking about a population of over 400,000 persons. Guadeloupe equally 400,000, roughly 400,000 as well. So you're talking about a great potential. as far as visitors coming for the carnival.
Without a doubt, whilst we here in St. Lucia love to party and love a good fete, one of the reasons for changing Carnival from a pre-Lenten activity to July was to lure more visitors to our shores so that they too can enjoy this festival of grandeur and merriment. 40% of visitors for the Carnival season were from the French departments, representing a significant increase in stay-over arrivals for the event. They were followed by Trinidadians, Americans and Barbadians. Accommodation represented the largest spend by visitors, followed by shopping, transportation, food and drink, and of course, the entertainment itself.
Color Me Red is a $750,000 production. A $750,000 EC dollar production, right? From paying the artists, from the stage production, your sound, rental of venue, and you're talking about purchasing of your drinks. It's you know what is to turn around $750,000 into the economy? And it shows it goes a long way.
When the song is eventually given to a performer, let's take Calypso for example, that performer then has to get that song arranged. So an arranger has to be employed to turn the songs into notations so that a band that reads music, which one of the beauty of Calypso in St. Lucia is that we read, the finals are read. Certainly the finals for Calypso, you need to be able to have that skill to be able to read music. Not so much so for the party monarchs and the soakers, etc. But you need that person to actually arrange. Once that song has been arranged, you need to think about recording. So you have to go into a studio, you have to employ session musicians, background vocals. So all these people are actually part of the system. You need a studio.
The age group 25 to 34 made up 33% of persons interviewed, whilst 35 to 44 age group represented 24.7% majority. However, the 19 to 24 age group represented the highest expenditure, followed by the 35 to 44. But what exactly was the money spent on? Well, besides the obvious like fetting, costumes and drinks, during Carnival, money is spent on clothing, which represented the highest percentage of spent, followed by drinks, tickets, footwear and transportation.
Well, I have a separate account I keep just for my Carnival events. So my monies go there and I don't have to make a big savings. I need to budget for the costume, budget for the events, little extras, but that goes on a side on a monthly basis. It's like part of my regular savings.
Well, it's quite simple. It's not difficult at all. You just plan ahead. When it comes to the money, you budget properly. You don't spend too much. If you budget your money well, everything is going to be okay.
Saving is nothing. Whenever I want something, especially like Carnival, you have to budget your money because Carnival is not only the 2 days jump up. Carnival is a whole season of activities leading up to the jump up. So you know how to save. I basically don't go out unless it's really June, July. July and December time, that's the time I really normally go out. So I get to save easily.
The visitor survey suggests that the 2,497 persons who came specifically for Carnival 2013 from outside of St. Lucia spent on average 3,600 EC dollars. This equates to a total expenditure of more than 8.9 million EC dollars. Of this amount, $1,196 was spent by each of these persons on average for Carnival services, with females spending on the order of 1.3% more than men.
Would you call yourself a die-hard Carnival fan?
I would call myself a die-hard, dedicated Carnival fan.
Oh wow, yes. Now there's a stark difference,
Carnival
right?
referees.
Well, Sky, you sound like you are ready for the road. Maybe I'll just continue with getting you ready.
At the end of it all, like anything else, the Carnival product here continues to go through a metamorphosis, and a number of recommendations have been made for its improvement and growth. Among the most frequent recommendations were suggestions to improve on the production of the event, increased financing, and heavy advertising and marketing of the event on a larger scale.
Martinique is learning a lot from our carnival. For the first time, they have put together a bands association, and that bands association, we sat with them, and they made certain requests on behalf of their members. I think it argues well for them. We have also spoken about exchange in our creative ways of the way we do carnival, so what we could bring to them and what they could bring to us. So these are things that we're looking at in the future.
We should perhaps not get involved with banning foreign songs. What we need to do is build on what we have, look at our quality, look at it from a purely business perspective. What is good for the country is having our songs, our music played more often. Okay, why is that not possible? Is it the content? Is it the range? Is it the carnival season is too short? Is it the marketing of our product? Those sorts of challenge we need to look at without needing to bring in legislation to say play 25% or play 50%.
How do we benefit? We don't get paid. We don't get anything. There's no returns on that investment that we made. So this is just more or less about love. We don't benefit. Designers don't benefit. The only thing we get out of this is the prestige of winning. And for those who lose, there's nothing coming to them. They don't get $1 out of this. Every year from Carnival, I don't get a cent. I invest my own money eventually into it. This cannot continue. The authorities need to, like I said, if they develop the product that we could actually benefit from it, you understand? Then we're able to create a magnificent carnival because we will be able to benefit from it.
The line staff have to work with the porters, have to work with the supervisors, have to work with management, have to work with directors. It has to be a team effort. And if you have everybody pulling in different directions, there's no focus, there's no strategic plan where all of us are heading in the same direction, we'll never see the true development and the true potential of the mass.
If we had Jazz Festival, which has a long-standing history, you have Carnival, which has tremendous potential, and one other perhaps or two other major festivals running throughout the year, those people, including the purveyors of equipment for infrastructure like stages and tents and chairs and tables, all of those things that are needed, those people get together and they create an industry. And with 2 or 3 fixtures throughout the year, you have people employed, you have revenue turning over. And so it's really, really important for the government in particular to recognize that whatever money it puts into the seeding of Carnival, similar to the seeding of Jazz Festival, really generates many, many, many times more revenue and income for people who are out there in the industry.
Without a doubt, or rather, Lucian Carnival is here to stay. In an ever-changing world where the dynamics of culture and the need for it to grow, against a backdrop of accruing financial gain, it is safe to say that we are well on our way in achieving this paradigm shift. So while we love our culture, the bacchanal, the gaiety and excitement that comes with it, and while some of us save up just to spend some extra cash during the carnival season, having some of that money stay right here for our economic development and benefit is definitely a good thing. Now that is something to jump up about.
Welcome to St. Lucia Carnival. Welcome to St. Lucia Bacchanal.
Oh na na, yeah, yeah. Oh na na, oh na na. Oh na na, oh na na.